Hey loves, it's Angelica. If you don't know me, if you do, welcome back. Today we are going to be talking about the baggy method. And this is a game-changing step to add to your routine for extreme hair growth. And when I say hair growth, I mean length retention, because this is focused on our ends. Our hair does not grow from our ends, but it is retained there. So most of our hair actually is just not long because it always breaks off. This is the key to stop your ends from breaking and getting those inches so quick. So if that seems interesting, you want to stay all the way to the end of this video because it is jam-packed with information. I post videos twice a week all about growing long, healthy hair and a few other fun things. So if that seems interesting, consider subscribing. The subscription button is right down there, as well as the bell icon. Make sure you hit the bell so you get notifications every single time I post. Okay, so into the baggy method. This is not new at all. I actually used to do this to my hair all the time when I was relaxed, and I have not thought about it ever since. Like probably 4 years. This has not even crossed my mind. I have not thought about it at all. Not that it was bad or anything. I just totally forgot about it because everybody forgot about it. And then ulovemegs posted this video right here. I used to follow her since the time I was relaxed, and I still follow her now because, you know, hair is hair. Doesn't matter if it's relaxed or natural. For you to have healthy hair, it's the routine that matters. So I don't care if you're relaxed or natural. If your hair is healthy, I'm trying to find out what you're doing with it. So she posted this video and it reminded me how much I loved doing the baggy method and what a huge change it made. So in my video, I have a little bit of a twist, you know, something of a twist that in my opinion makes it better for natural hair because she did unrelaxed hair. So let's get straight into the demo and all the explanations. Okay, so the first twist is that my hair is in twists. Yes, that's the twist, my little dad joke. So keeping your hair in twists or braids actually is a great idea if you have natural hair, only because if your hair is straight, there's a very low chance that it's going to tangle after staying overnight in the baggy method. However, if your hair is natural, I suggest you put it in twists or braids, but you're still going to have to do it in sections. So I start by separating my hair into 3, which eventually is going to be into 4. So you can just separate it into 4 if you want. So that front one is tied. Now I'm clipping this back section, and then we're going to start with that one section which has 3 twists in it. So my hair was already detangled before I put it in these twists on my wash day, and now I'm just spraying my hair down with a little water, which is the second twist. If your hair is straight or you have, like, you know, you don't need that much product to make your hair wet, then you can just go straight to the moisturizer. But if you have thick natural hair like me, you might want to start with a little bit of spray. Now that's my infinity spray bottle. I love it because it doesn't spray too much product. And for the leave-in, we're using the Shea Moisture Silicone Miracle Styler. I love this leave-in. It's nice and lightweight, and I put about 3 pumps or 3 sprays per section. Now, if you have a leave-in that is extremely light and watery, then you can skip the water step as well and just go straight to spraying in the leave-in. So as you can see, I'm focusing all the product on my ends, and then I'm taking whatever excess up to the roots and to the base of my hair. This is purely focused on the ends, but just because we're focused on the ends doesn't mean we need to neglect the rest of the hair. So once that is perfectly absorbed, you want to take a carrier oil of your choice. I'm using my favorite moringa oil, which I made myself. It's also infused with peppermint, tea tree, and rosemary oil, but you can use plain olive oil. You can use any light oil. If you want to use a heavy oil like castor oil, please dilute it with something lighter because you don't want it to be like sticky on your hair. So the oil is definitely very, very focused on the ends. I make sure that the ends have absorbed everything, and then if there happens to be a little bit left over on the rest of my hands, I will go ahead and do it to the rest of the sections. And then when I move on to the next section, I make sure that I clip up each section tightly packed together so that it doesn't get dry or anything while I'm doing the other sections. So I'm going to do the exact same thing to all the other sections while I explain some of the benefits and why I'm doing this and all that. So first of all, when you do this, I would suggest you do not do this on your wash day, only because your hair is the most moisturized on your wash day, which is when I assume you do your full in-depth moisturizing routine. And because your hair is so moisturized, there's no need to do the baggy method because that is the best stage of your wash day. So I would suggest you leave your hair for 2 to 3 days till it gets a little dry. Then you can move on to this baggy method. So you can do this 2 to 3 days later, and then after that, don't do it every single day, even if you think your hair is very dry, because that's going to lead to some hydro fatigue, moisture overload, and that can actually cause really bad damage to your hair. So do this maybe 2 to 3 times a week, so like every 3 days. And if you do it even just once and it feels like your hair has moisture overload, like it feels a little sticky, it feels over moisturized, don't do it again. But if your hair just feels nice and moisturized and soft, by all means do it again, but not the next day. You need time for your hair to be completely dry before you try and do this again. Next thing is, on your wash day, when you do your moisturizing routine, just moisturize, do not moisturize and seal, because if you seal, this is not going to be as effective as it could be, because you've already sealed off your hair from accepting any more moisture. The thing is, for me, I wash my hair every 7 to 10 days, so I would only be doing this 1 to 2 times a week before I wash my hair again, maybe even just once, which is how I've been doing it. So I can get away with putting oil. However, if you're going to put oil on your ends, especially if you're going to be heavy-handed with it, you want to make sure that on your wash day, you use a shampoo. If you know it's a week when you're going to co-wash, or you just don't want to use a shampoo, skip the baggy method until you're ready to use shampoo, because your hair is going to feel nice and soft, but then as the days, weeks, and possibly months move on, you're going to start to experience dryness out of nowhere, and that's because it's going to be the buildup of oils on your hair, which is going to block out the moisture, and it's going to be the opposite of what you want to do with this routine. So some more benefits of this baggy method is that it helps your hair absorb moisture because it stays moisturized the whole time. The moisture does not evaporate. It maximizes length retention, because most of us lose hair or have shorter hair because your hair is breaking at the same rate that it is growing, because the very ends of your hair are very dry. But with this, it keeps them very, very nice and moisturized. Also, make sure your hair is fully detangled if you decide to do this on hair that's just left out, because this already makes it slightly more prone to tangling, because it's going to stay extremely moisturized all night. So hopefully that helped. And as you can see, as I was doing in the demo, if you have any problem areas anywhere, for me it's sort of the crown, like in the middle of my head, I make sure I put just a little bit more product there. So if your problem area is the back of your neck, you know, the nape, or just a little section where you have a little extra broken hair, just make sure you focus a little more on that section. Don't leave it out. It shouldn't be dry. And then I also always focus on my hairline, because that is the weakest part of my hair. And I can get away with always putting product on my hairline because I do wash my face twice a day, and there's a high chance that my face wash or anything like that has washed off a little bit of product. So I am quite heavy-handed on my hairline because there's a high chance of me washing out the product. So make sure that if you want to do this, you take into precaution everything that I'm mentioning. So now on this last section, you can see I've been doing everything I did to the first section. And once you're done moisturizing and making sure everything is perfectly absorbed into your hair and that the oil is perfectly absorbed, this is the stage where you want to retwist if any of your twists unravel. Because if you start this and notice that a few of your twists are maybe unraveling, by the time you reach the end of this, they're probably going to have unraveled a little bit again, which is just over manipulation. So once you're completely done with everything, you can see there's 2 twists where the ends are slightly loose. This is the moment when you go and retwist them, just to make sure that your hair stays nice and moisturized. And once that is done, now it is time for the famous baggy method. This is where the baggy comes in. There's also 2 ways to do this. Oh, before I do that, I'm just using this very soft bristle brush just to brush around my hairline to make sure that my hair looks semi-neat and that it won't get like super frizzy and rough while I'm sleeping. Anyway, like I said, there's 2 ways to do this. The first way is one I don't agree with. I'm also going to tie my hair first with that scrunchie, and I'm pulling the individual twist as I tie it into the satin scrunchie to make sure that no twist gets left out, because I want all my ends to be nice and loose and tight. But you don't want to make it too tight. Also, you don't want it to suck any moisture or break your hair, which is why I'm using a satin scrunchie. So you can put a plastic bag or a baggie over your entire head, or a plastic cap. That's more of like the greenhouse effect. I don't like that because I don't like the moisture on my scalp, and I feel like that has a higher chance of causing moisture overload. The baggy method, I feel like, is much more effective and has a much higher success rate if you only do it on the end. So you can see I've tied my hair there. It is nice and loose. I made sure I pulled out any twists that felt a little too tight, and now it's time for the baggie. Now you can use any plastic bag, preferably a sort of soft one that doesn't make too much noise, because the best time to do this is at night, because no one wants to move around with a plastic bag over their head. So sleep time is the best time, and that's when your hair grows the most. So I completely covered that. That's just like a food bag. And then I'm taking a hair tie, and I'm not even going to tie it twice. I'm literally just putting it over so that this doesn't slip off my head. And as you can see, it's nice and secure, just the way I put it on. And now this is how you sleep. So I get a satin or silk scarf. This is the first way. It's actually not the most comfortable for me, but I'm showing you the option. So the first one is to wrap it around like that, and then you tie it around the back and make sure that that little triangle part is covered over the baggie, so that when you tie it and it's nice and tight, the bag doesn't slip off your hair and come out. And this I would suggest if you're a wild sleeper. If you're the kind of sleeper who wakes up and you have no idea how the bonnet got off your head, you might want to do this, but don't make it too tight either way. You might want to wrap the scarf, and then you can take your bonnet and put it over, and then that will help. And so that even if your scarf slips off, at least you still have the bonnet for protection on top. So you can use any kind of bonnet, but this is my favorite kind of bonnet. It's just very soft, it's nice and silky, and the edges are flat, so there's no ruffles that are ruffling up my hairline or irritating my face. So that's the first way, and you can go and sleep with your hair like this if you like. But this is not my favorite way. Also, this plastic doesn't make noise. Like I said, it's not really noisy. So my favorite way is to take that bonnet off. I will take off the scarf. And by take off the scarf, I mean I won't put a scarf on my head in the first place. I just put the baggie on. I put on my bonnet, and I go to sleep because the bonnet doesn't fall off my head. Thank you so much for watching. Let me know if you want more videos like this. Hit my face on the side to subscribe if you didn't in the beginning. Watch the 2 videos on the side of the screen, and I'll see you guys in my next one. Bye!